Have you noticed how on bad days it feels like everything conspires against you? The bus runs late, an unexpected bill arrives, someone throws a harsh word at you, and suddenly your entire mood collapses. Most people believe happiness depends on luck, money, or a perfect scenario. But that's a dangerous lie, one that keeps us prisoners of what we cannot control. What if I told you there's a way to be happy even on your worst days, without waiting for life to change? The secret lies in ancient wisdom, practiced by emperors, warriors, and thinkers who endured challenges far greater than ours. This philosophy reveals that happiness doesn't come from the outside world, but from how you choose to respond to it. It's counterintuitive, even controversial, but it's liberating. Problems don't have to disappear for you to find peace. What you're about to discover are 6 Stoic lessons that can help you find happiness even in chaos. And each one has the power to radically change the way you see life. Accepting what you cannot control. How many times has someone exhausted themselves trying to change what was never in their hands? Stoic philosophy reminds us that much of our unhappiness is born from the illusion of control. When a person insists on fighting against what cannot be altered, the result is only frustration and anxiety. But when they realize they can only choose their response, peace appears. And that's where we find the secret of how to be happy even on the worst days. This is one of the foundational Stoic lessons for serenity in hard times. Imagine being stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. Yelling, honking, or cursing won't change the situation. The only real choice is to either suffer pointlessly or use that time to listen to an audiobook, reflect, or simply breathe. This is how to find inner peace in the middle of life's storms. The world is full of circumstances beyond our control, but with resilience and Stoic calm, they can be faced without losing balance. Acceptance doesn't mean passivity or giving up. It means channeling energy toward what truly matters. A student who missed an exam due to an unforeseen event could torment themselves or decide to prepare even better for the next opportunity. That mental shift is what transforms unhappiness into inner strength. Understanding that control lies only in one's response creates a silent power no one can take away. This principle is so practical it can be applied every day. When something goes wrong, immediately ask, "Is this under my control?" If the answer is no, let it go. If it's yes, act with discipline. This simple habit brings Stoic philosophy into action, and the more it's practiced, the lighter the mind becomes, as external problems lose their grip. Life slowly feels less turbulent, more peaceful. Those who embrace this principle discover how to develop mental strength without being dragged down by external storms. What once seemed unbearable starts to lose its weight because the mind is no longer chained to the unattainable. This is the essence of Stoic happiness, to find joy within, even when the outside world does not cooperate. And this acceptance naturally leads to the next lesson, turning pain into learning. Turning pain into learning. Pain may feel like an enemy, but within Stoic wisdom, it is treated as a strict teacher, harsh in its methods yet generous in its lessons. When facing loss, frustration, or failure, sadness is natural. But the Stoics offer a different perspective. Instead of resisting suffering, embrace it as an opportunity for growth. This is where Stoic happiness becomes real, because even on the worst days, one can harvest seeds of wisdom and inner strength. Picture an athlete who injures themselves during training. They could surrender to despair, or they could use the recovery period to study techniques, strengthen neglected muscles, or sharpen their mental focus. Here, pain becomes a guide pointing to new paths. This is Stoicism in practice, turning what looks like an ending into a beginning, a chance to become more resilient. Life is full of such moments. Losing a job, for example, feels devastating at first. Yet, when seen differently, it may create space for a personal project, new studies, or even a complete career change. These events reveal how to overcome bad days and how to be happy despite difficulties. The point is not to deny pain, but to understand it as a portal for transformation. A practical exercise is to keep a learning journal. Every time something difficult happens, write down what lesson the situation carries. It may be patience, humility, or resilience. Over time, this habit trains the mind to find value in suffering. This practice builds Stoic serenity, and teaches how to find happiness even in hard times. When pain is embraced this way, scars become reminders not just of survival, but of wisdom gained. Each difficulty refines character and strengthens resolve. This mindset is what keeps hope alive, even in the darkest moments. And once this vision is developed, it naturally opens the door to the next essential Stoic pillar, the power of perspective. The power of perspective. When someone is drowning in a problem, it feels enormous, almost impossible to overcome. But Stoic wisdom teaches that everything is temporary, and the weight of difficulty depends on how we look at it. Often, what seems unbearable today will become a small memory tomorrow. This shift in view is one of the secrets to happiness on the worst days. Broaden your vision, lighten the moment, and realize that nothing is as permanent as it feels in the heat of the present. Imagine someone who loses a job opportunity. The instant rejection arrives, it feels like the end of the world. Yet months later, they may see that this no created space for something far greater. This is how being happy despite difficulties often comes down to changing the lens through which we view life. What looked like failure can become the foundation for future success. A practical Stoic technique is the view from above. When a situation feels too heavy, picture yourself looking at it from far above, as if gazing at Earth from space. Suddenly, your life is part of a vast whole, and your problem shrinks in scale. This exercise reduces anxiety and brings inner peace, showing in practice how to stay calm even when the storm feels close. Take another example, a heated argument at work. In the heat of anger, it feels like a massive crisis, but when viewed with distance, it's just a temporary clash that will likely be forgotten in weeks. This mental training strengthens emotional control and nurtures Stoic serenity. Life shifts from being a string of crises to a sequence of opportunities to grow wiser. Every time perspective changes, freedom grows. The crushing weight of problems lifts, and the heart becomes lighter. This ability to see beyond the present moment allows happiness to bloom, a happiness not tied to circumstances. And it's from this expanded vision that the next lesson naturally arises, the practice of gratitude. The practice of gratitude. Gratitude is like a lens that completely changes how we see life. Even on the worst days, there's always something to value. The breath in your lungs, a glass of water, a simple act of kindness. Stoic wisdom shows that giving thanks neutralizes negativity and nurtures inner happiness. Those who practice it discover how to be happy even on difficult days because they learn to focus on what's present instead of what's missing. One practical exercise is keeping a gratitude journal. Every night before sleeping, write down 3 things you are thankful for. They can be simple details like a smile, a good meal, or the fact that you overcame another challenge. This habit gradually trains the mind to see beauty where there once was only complaint. Little by little, serenity grows, and happiness is found in small but powerful ways. Another example, imagine someone going through financial struggles. At first, the natural reaction is drowning in worry, but if they stop to recognize that they still have health, friendships, or skills that could open new doors, the weight lightens. Gratitude doesn't erase the problem, but it strengthens the mind to face it with balance. This is one of the Stoic teachings that reveal how to build resilience in scarcity. It's important to remember that gratitude doesn't mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. On the contrary, it's looking at life honestly and still choosing to value what's good. When trained daily, the heart finds inner peace, and the person learns how to gain mental strength in hard times. Gratitude is like lighting a candle in the dark, small but powerful enough to guide the path. Over time, gratitude becomes more than a practice. It becomes a way of living. It shifts from a momentary act to a permanent state of mind. This new pattern creates a sense of lasting balance, sustaining happiness even in difficult moments. And once gratitude is cultivated, another essential skill naturally emerges: the value of silence and calm. The value of silence and calm. Silence carries a transformative power that is often underestimated. In a noisy, rushed world, learning to stay quiet is almost an act of rebellion. For the Stoics, calm is not just the absence of noise, but the presence of inner strength. When someone resists the urge to react impulsively in chaos, they discover how to find inner peace and how to be happy even during difficulties. This is one of the clearest signs of true mental strength. Picture a heated argument. The natural impulse is to raise your voice, to counterattack, to try to win through shouting. But when a person chooses to respond with calm or even silence, they disarm the conflict. This simple act shields the mind and prevents external problems from becoming internal storms. This is a core part of Stoic happiness, not letting the outside world dictate your inner state. A practical exercise is Stoic meditation. Spend a few minutes each day sitting quietly, focusing on your breath and letting thoughts pass without attachment. This practice creates mental space, builds self-control, and helps face bad days with more balance. Silence, then, is not emptiness, but a fertile ground where clarity and Stoic wisdom grow. Another real example. Imagine receiving an unfair criticism. Instead of snapping back in anger, the person takes a deep breath, analyzes, and decides later whether it's even worth replying. That pause between impulse and action is where freedom resides. It's in this space that emotional control is built and serenity is preserved, even in the most stressful moments. When silence and calm become allies, life gains a new rhythm. The mind stops being a prisoner of every external trigger and begins to move with steady peace. This balance allows happiness in difficult moments to become not only possible, but real. And it is from this inner calm that the final understanding emerges. Happiness as an internal state. Happiness as an internal state. Stoic philosophy teaches that true happiness doesn't depend on money, status, or other people's approval. It is born from self-control, discipline, and virtue. It's an internal state that remains steady, even when everything around collapses. This view reveals how to be happy despite difficulties, because joy doesn't come from circumstances, but from the way we choose to live and think. Take a simple example. One person may live in a mansion and still feel miserable, while another, with very little, experiences daily peace and Stoic serenity. What changes isn't the situation, but the mind. Practicing Stoic teachings reveals how to find happiness even on the worst days, because the individual no longer depends on unstable factors to feel whole. In practice, this means cultivating habits that strengthen the soul. Reading Stoic, works like Meditations by Marcus Aurelius or Letters from a Stoic by Seneca, helps train the mind for balance. It also means caring for the body, nurturing healthy relationships, and practicing emotional control every day. These small steps combine to build mental strength and serenity in hard times. Another powerful exercise is redefining success. Instead of measuring it by comparison with others, measure it by your ability to stay true to your values. This inner shift brings freedom because it eliminates the need for external validation. Here, Stoic happiness is solidified, resilience to face the world without losing the joy of living. In the end, the greatest victory isn't conquering the world but conquering yourself. Those who understand this live with dignity, balance, and inner joy. And all these lessons weave together a clear path: how to overcome bad days, how to control emotions, and how to be happy even in the hardest moments. Now that you've learned these Stoic lessons, the real question is, will you just hear them and move on, or will you apply them and transform your life? It's not enough to admire Stoic philosophy. You must practice it daily. So ask yourself, how can you start accepting what you can't control, turning pain into growth, or practicing gratitude today? Which one of these steps will you take right now to start feeling the change? Happiness on the worst days is not a myth, it's an internal state you can build. Can you imagine living with peace of mind even when everything outside seems to fall apart? That's the mental strength few people develop, but it's within your reach. So I'll challenge you. Will you keep being a prisoner of circumstances, or will you take control of your mind and finally learn how to be happy despite difficulties? If this message resonated with you, don't let this wisdom pass you by. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and continue learning how to apply Stoicism in your everyday life. Here you'll discover teachings that will help you build resilience, serenity, and, above all, true happiness. Remember, changing your life begins with a single step, and that step could be today.